What is up? What is good, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to more esports talk, the latest and greatest breakdown of all the COD drama out there. Not too much this week. I'll be honest with you guys. Let's just preface by saying this stuff is not too serious. I've seen better beef, especially when it came time for the initial callouts of Crim6 and Scump, but a little bit of rehashing, I would say, ever since then. Of course, Crim6 calling out Scump earlier this week. We talked about that. He talked about how dominant the Dallas Empire have been, doing multiple scrims per day. And let's be honest, based off public opinion, we have heard that Dallas Empire are looking pretty clean when it comes time for competitive and scrim practice out there. Now it's actually FormaL taking his first dip, his first little dip, ironically enough, dipping. But in this clip, guys, not really too serious. He does fight back, though, against apparently how good NRG, the Chicago Huntsmen, are looking compared to OpTic and compared to the Dallas Empire. Here's what he had to say.
The content is coming. How was scrims today?
Great. We shit all over the Empire, and then we shit all over OpTic.
Ooh.
Yeah, Empire was trash. I don't know why they were gassed up.
Dude, I love.
But speaking of actual rehashing of drama, and again, sadly enough, I have to be honest with you guys. I'm not trying to stir any feathers here. It seems this beef is only going to be staying in game. That being the beef that we've been talking about ever since last week. Aches and Slasher, rehashing. Not only it's going to be Crim and Scump probably going back and forth all year long. Crim has plenty of battles of his own personally when it comes to all of this drama. And again, when it comes to COD players, no one knows what is trolling and what is not, because especially compared to other esports scenes, if players were saying this kind of stuff, I feel like it'd be serious. But when it comes to, Crim6 and Dashy and Scump and Censor, all of these guys, they seem to say these things and then joke back and forth on Twitter. So they seem to all be friendly, but you just never know what people say, and they kind of subtly really do mean it. That's going to be rehashing, though, between Aches and Slasher, the battle for LA, which I cannot wait to actually cover the breakdown here, guys, of what LA team will actually be the backup team, which Slasher is doubling down on. He had a latest Call of Duty interview. If you guys did not catch this, I will link it down below for all of you, where he re-brings up the old beef we covered last week. For anyone who did miss it, it was actually Aches, first of all, taking to Twitter. They had finalized their lineup, and so what does Slasher do? He promptly replies and says, "Hello! Welcome to that LAB team." And of course, if anyone does not understand this, we have two LA teams. Slasher kind of implies here that LA OpTic is the first place, the A team, they're the better team, thus the LA Guerrillas are going to be the backup team or the B team. They go back and forth. It actually ends up with Slasher trying to call out Aches by saying he didn't want to be a part of his team, and then Aches promptly replies and says, "Hey, why don't you focus on your own roster, because Dashy wants to be in Chicago, not LA." Now, this actually been rehashed by his latest Call of Duty interview. That's going to be with Slasher, where he doubles down by saying LA, yes, LA Guerrillas, the backup team of Los Angeles. I also do like how he mentions he considers himself to be one of the biggest old-time rivals of OpTic Gaming, and now when he had his choice of the field, he wanted to be a part of them. So I thought that was very curious. Alongside that, though, he wants to bring them back to their old competitive glory, which I am super excited to see if he can actually pull that off. Based off what we heard so far when in terms of communication of their roster, they've been having their own struggles over at OpTic, but we'll see. Again, all these are just scrims. They're all behind the scenes, most of it at least, but what's not shown on YouTube or Twitch. So we'll see who actually comes out of the woodwork on top here. And very lastly, he does also make sure to clarify he finds it funny with their little bit of a rivalry between Slasher and Aches, how they ended up to be the two captains of LA teams, which again, it makes for a great story. The Battle of LA has its own movie, guys. So cannot wait to see how this does break down. And very lastly, does mention it's an in-game only rivalry, which I'm going to pretend I didn't hear, because I'd much rather prefer that you guys be actual rivals, and that way I can talk about this drama here on the channel. Crim versus Scump, Crim versus Dashy, Crim versus TJ, Crim versus pretty much everyone in the world right now, especially any former OpTic guys. We have Censor versus Dashy, Censor versus Blast, Censor versus his girlfriend. Alongside that, we have a lot of rivalries, Aches versus Slasher, and even then some. We have FormaL getting involved, dipping his toes as classic FormaL. You just love to hear his call-outs on top of all of that. You know what's really weird to hear about COD drama? A lot of it involves former OpTic boys. And I think it's drawing mixed opinions out there. Certainly in my comment section, we have a lot of people either on Crim's side or certainly against him. So this drama, it might be paying off, it might not. When it comes time for talking, though, the first season is going to prove who actually comes out on top and who actually wins. You can talk all you want, but if you're not winning, it really might bite you in the butt. Now, very lastly as well, some tiny news out there. Is this through the return season, at least when it comes to Pat the Pro, for a guy like Mbos? We have no idea. He has apparently been let go from that subtle roster as well. also confirmed by, I believe, BZ on Reddit on top of that. And so he's still looking for a team out there who is looking for a blessing. We will see another former OpTic member. It seems that all I'm talking about when it comes time for Call of Duty is former OpTic boys. We will see if this season is his time for a comeback, which I personally would really enjoy seeing. On top of all of these rivalry guys, I am slowly working towards a video on the drug problem. I wouldn't even say a problem, the drug instances coming to Call of Duty. I talked on this last episode as well. If you guys would like to see that, have anything to add, my DMs are always open, the comment section as well. Feel free to share anything. I'm working on a wrap-up video about all of that, which will probably take some time, but I think a great debate to talk about, not only for Call of Duty, but other esports, is the presence of Adderall, other prescription drugs that esports athletes might be using to gain some sort of competitive advantage. Until next time, though, I hope you guys all enjoy the breakdown of this COD drama. It's not really drama. It's just some light beef out there, especially for this week. But hopefully next week, we got some other resparks coming. I'll cover it for all of you guys on this channel as per usual. Until next time, drink your coffee. I'll see you guys all back here sometime soon.